All right, so welcome everyone to our Public Speakers Association Virtual Summit for February, and we're really excited about our speakers that we have today, and we're grateful for everyone who has joined us live, and anyone who watches this later, the replay. So our first speaker is Steve Sapato, and Steve is not your typical professional speaker and corporate trainer. With an impressive resume that boasts 36 diverse full-time positions across various industries, Steve brings a wealth of real-world experience to his presentations. As a serial entrepreneur, he has owned and operated 7 small businesses, alongside managing 3 successful online ventures. Known for his captivating and entertaining speaking style, Steve infuses humor, sarcasm, and a touch of irreverence into his presentations. In a world where conformity often stifles creativity, Steve stands out as a beacon of authenticity. His talks and training sessions blend insightful perspective with banter, leaving audiences enlightened and entertained. Prepare to be inspired, amused, and challenged as Steve takes you on a journey where learning meets laughter. All right, Steve, we'll turn the
Hey,
time to you.
thanks a lot, Brian. Appreciate that introduction. Now I got to try and live up to that. How are you folks doing today? I hope you're fabulous, but I don't really care. That's one of those, you're here, you're not here, you're watching, you're not watching. What I'm supposed to be sharing with you today is how to be more successful in your small business. And that's really critical for you to understand what it takes. And I tell the story. I just put out a quick video myself on how to grow a small business. I got some webinars. I got some actual live presentations that I'm going to be doing on how to grow a business. But 50 years ago, approximately, I lived in Moline, Illinois, East Moline, Illinois, and I went bankrupt out of an ice cream store business. And for the life of me, I said, I can't figure out why I went bankrupt, right? It made no sense. And then when I looked back at it, it made a lot of sense. I had worked in an ice cream store. I had helped manage an ice cream store. And then I decided, 5 years later that I could open my own ice cream store. And I invested my big money in, that $160,000, $180,000 50 years ago, which was a fortune, of course. And went 2.5 years before I went belly up. And looking back, why did I fail? What caused me to fail? And that was, first of all, I didn't have enough knowledge and I didn't have mentors to help me. If you don't have a coach, get yourself a coach. If you don't have a mentor to help you in a business, get yourself a mentor, especially brick and mortar stores. Oh my gosh, do you know how much money you should be making if you got your own store out there? If you've got the right location, the right product, and you have the right people hired, the rest should be easy to put together and make yourself a couple $100,000 a year. And if you're not making that $100,000 a year, you're missing out. I don't know what to tell you. So let's start with the basics. First of all, have you bought all the books that you need about your business? Books that people have written that says, this is how you run this kind of business. This is how you run that kind of business. As a speaker and a presenter, I didn't start off as a professional speaker. I was 25 years old. My mom called me up one day when I worked at IBM and said, hey, my speaker canceled for my women's group tonight. Now I need a speaker. I went, Mom, I don't know any speakers. And she went, no, you don't understand. You're my speaker. And I went, Mom, I'm not a speaker. And she said, you're a speaker. And you can't tell your mom no. What's wrong with you folks? So I said, well, what do you want me to talk about? And she said, it's up to you. That's the worst thing you can do for a speaker. Do you know that? Is to say, speak on any topic that you want. That's, for us, it's hard to narrow down because we have so many topics. How about you? You got a lot of things to talk about? But I finally narrowed it down. I went and spoke and I had a good time. They had me back a couple times. Other ladies invited me. And then somebody said, hey, how much do you charge to do your dinner speeches? I went, charge? I could make money doing this? Wow. So I started off at $50. 3 months later, I charged them $100 because I started to get busy. And within a year, I was charging $1,500 to go someplace and do a 1-hour talk. That's amazing. I was like stunned. Well, now you're either 5,000 or 10,000. I hope you're making that kind of money. If not, reach out. Some of us will help you learn how to make that kind of money and what to talk about, what topics, and how to get. But I digress. When you're talking about success in a small business, the one thing I want you to know is it takes for you to ask other people for help. Ask for help. Say, I'm only making $60,000 a year in my whatever store you've got. Well, you should be making a lot more than that. There's probably things you don't know. When you went through the pandemic, if you lived through the pandemic and you've got a brick and mortar store, you survived, but maybe you didn't grow and prosper. One of the biggest things was, and I had a couple friends who were in the restaurant business. One of my friends runs a Village Inn, and I said, "Hey, how'd you do out there, Mike?" And he was like, "It was a rough 2 years, Steve. It was rough." And I went, "Has business ever come back?" He goes, "Not really." And I went, "Well, how did you reach out? How did you contact the people who were already your clients?" And here's what he said to me. "What do you mean? How are you contacting people that are already your clients to offer them either more product, more services, an opportunity that you might be presenting that you hadn't gone with before?" And people say, "Well, I don't collect their emails. I don't collect their phone numbers." Wow, you better change that right now. If you've been in business for a couple of years, you better have hundreds, if not thousands, of contacts of people who come in and do business with you. Vital that you have that connection, vital that you have that success. And that's the one thing I want you to understand too is, do you know how to contact the people who've already done business with you? Referrals and previous business clients are the ones who will bring you the most business in the future. And it's a lot cheaper to contact the ones you've already done business with than to try and start and find new clients, do all the advertising, do all the promotions, get what I mean? All right. So let's talk about something here too. When we talk about what it takes to survive, here's the question I have. Are you good at closing the sale? And I mean really good at closing the sale. Are you really good at teaching your people how to close the sale? Do they know how to answer objections? One of the greatest challenges people have is, here's an objection, and people talk around it. They don't talk to it. And what's the best way to talk to an objection? Ask a question. All right. You have to ask a question. If somebody says, that price is just way too high, you go, "Oh, no kidding. Why do you say that?" "Well, it's too much money." Now, I was just listening to I'm listening to this guy on tape. Now, I teach people how to be better, and I'm listening to a guy talk about how to create $100 million, not lead, but it's pitch, how to create $100 million pitch. And you're like, wow. And he's got all kinds of good stuff. And when he talks about this pitch, do you know, when people say, like, he says $99 a month for this gym membership is way too much because I can go over here and get it for $29. You go, "Well, what's your objective?" They go, "So 99 is too much." "Really? Really?" He even offered them for free. And they said, for a free trial. And they said, "Well, no, I'm not going to take the free trial because I still know it'll cost me $99 when I'm done." He was selling price. Don't sell price. Don't do it. Instead, he said, "Why do you want to go to the gym?" They said, "To lose weight." Okay, if you go to the gym, do you know that only 23% of the people who go to a gym actually lose weight for going to the gym? And, if you had those statistics, you could tell people that. And they think, I'm one of those 23%. You say, probably not. So if I could help you lose, how much weight do you want to lose? 40 pounds. If I could help you lose 40 pounds, would that be worth $100 a month to you over the next 10 or 12 months? Well, yeah. Okay. So you see, he stopped selling price and started selling value. And what are you selling? What are you offering to your people? You can reach out to us. We'll be glad to help you. Look us up on the internet. Find us. We will be glad to answer your questions. I always say that to people. Bring me a question. Hey, spend 5-10 minutes with me now. If you ask more than 2 or 3 questions, you got to pay me. But that's important for you to understand. The way we succeed in any small business is to continue to grow and learn. Vital that you start learning that. If you're not already reading more stuff, listening to more stuff, participating, how many seminars have you gone to? How many workshops have you gone to? And some of them are a waste of your time, because how many times have you gotten on a webinar and they spend the first 30 minutes of the webinar talking about their struggle in their lives and how they did their business? I don't care. Tell me how I can make my business better. And so that's what you need to reach out to the right people to see who can help you make your business better. And that's critical, right? So we've already talked that you have to have a list, the list of your clients. Sure, so go out and get more lists. That'd be great to have more people, but start with yours and reach out to them. Ask them for referrals. Ask them for help. Tell them what you're doing. Tell them what you're growing with. Tell them where you're headed to. That's cool, right? And of course, the second thing is grow yourself. Make sure you're learning. Next, grow your people. What are you doing to help your people get better? That's vital to your success. And I've hired people into businesses that I've had where the guy was way overqualified. And he said, but Steve, I really need a job. I really need the job. I can't find the right job over here. I really need a job. And I went, okay, here's how this works. And I'll call him Mike for the same. Hey, Mike, here's how this works. If I hire you, you have to guarantee me 2 years that you'll work me. And he went, oh, that's no problem. See, thinking like that, I said, oh, yeah, but 6 months from now, you might find a dream job. So here's what I want. 2 years you work for me. And during that 2 years, I will help you find a better job. Okay. I will help you move up in my organization. I will help promote you because you're overqualified for this job. And that's why people won't hire you is they don't want to take the chance that you're going to quit. So you promised me 2 years. He went, oh, no problem at all. You know what? 1 year and 4 months into that job, after I'd really helped him grow and become in this position, he said, Steve, I got an opportunity over here, and I know I promised you 2 years. And I looked at him and went, here's the deal. You bring me somebody as good as you to fill your shoes, and you're gone. And he did within 30 days. So it was really cool. How are you helping your people? Okay. So one of the I'm putting on my workshop, it's 20 methods that will help you grow your business. 20 things. So salesmanship. Do you know how to close a sale? Do you know how to answer objections? Are you absolutely phenomenal at closing the deal? And by closing, it's real simple. You should never have to ask for the sale. They should be asking you, how do I get what you're offering? You know, you sit and talk about it casually. This is what I'm offering. And they should say, how do I get that? How can I get, your program? How can I get you to teach me this stuff? And that's what you want. When somebody asks me that, we know the sale's 90% done. All we got to do is work with them to make sure that we produce the results that we promise we will produce. And that's important no matter what you're doing. If you're a speaker, if you're a coach, what's your background? And in those particular things, testimonials are phenomenal, but experience is what counts. Can you show you've been around? Brian and I were just talking how I was telling him I met a life coach a few years ago who was 22 years old, and he was trying to help me in a situation, and he had no idea. He'd never been in that situation. He'd never faced that situation. He didn't even, his mom and dad didn't face that situation. So how can you help him, right? So make sure as a life coach that you stay within your realm. Make sure you say, I can help you with these parameters. Like if I'm a life coach to help you deal emotionally with your small business, right? Then trust me, I've been there many times where it's the pressures of the business with the pressures of family. It's like, why aren't you here, Dad? Why aren't you here, husband? Why aren't you doing this? And you have to learn how to deal with that. And you have to help them face the reality of what you're trying to accomplish. And that really is part of it. So, I mean, if you're a life coach, if you're a business coach, then you have to teach people all the great things that they have to learn about their business. And you know what? All business is basically the same. If you can come to that place where you understand that if you learn how to sell as a salesman and you learn how to sell as a retail person and you learn how to sell as an insurance person, you will close a lot more deals. And you do that by asking more questions. You want to learn about my 20 methodologies? Drop me a line. We're running out of time here. I guess I got about a minute left. But I want you to understand that there are always ways to help you grow your business. Matter of fact, I just wrote down something. Let's see if I can find it here real quick in the car as I pulled over to stop. But it was, what would you do? Here it is. What would you do with the money if I helped you double your income in the next 6 months? Think about that. What would you do with your money, with all the money you'd make, if I helped you double your income in the next 6 months? Tell me you don't want to have me coach you. That's true. I think I hear Brian popping in on the back side of that. But yeah, it's important that you have a value offer that really grabs people. Because think about it. I'm doing okay. Brian's doing okay. But if I said, hey, if I could help you double your money in the next 6 months, what would you do with all that money? Do you have a dream? Do you have something you really want? Some people want cars. Some people want vacations. Some people just want to buy back their time. It's vital that you understand what you really want. Do you have it written down? 5 things written down that you need to accomplish, that you want to accomplish over the next 1 to 5 years. Wow. Have you written those down? I'll bet most of you have not, and that's vital to your success. Write down at least 5. My son, who is now living in Ireland, Dublin, I don't know where he's living, Glasgow, Scotland. He's now living in Scotland. He always has a list of 100 things that he wants to have, do, be, or become, accomplish in his life. And when he finishes one, he takes it off the list and adds another one to the list. And trust me, the guy's only 34 years old, I think. Might be 36. I wonder how old my son is. Anyway, it's one of those deals where he always has a goal and he's always trying to achieve some of them. Do you? You'll be amazed at how happy it brings you, how happy it makes you when you accomplish one of the goals that you have on your list. So I think it's vital that you understand that it's important to have your own goals. You're going to have to help other people set their goals. Make sure you have your goals, right? Some people say, well, I want a coach who can help me be more successful. Great. That's one goal, right? How much you want to make? How much money do you want to make next year? How much business do you want to do? How many deals do you want to close this month, this week? Okay. That's vital to your success. If you're in real estate, I've had people tell me in real estate, I closed 15 deals last year. I said, is that what you wanted? They went, no. I said, how many do you want? They went, I would love to close 30 or 40. I went, why aren't you? And they went, I'm just not. And I offered to coach them. I can coach them, and I guarantee that I will help them double the number of sales they did last year, the next year. And you know what most of them say? Well, we've got an in-house coach. I went, how long you had that in-house coach? They go, well, a couple of years. I went, so you've had an in-house coach for a couple of years, and you're only doing half of what you really want to do. And they go, yeah. I go, well, then he's not much of a coach, or she's not much of a coach, are they? Because they're not helping you accomplish your goals. Reach out, pay somebody. If you made, like, I don't know how much they made. Let's say they made $60,000 selling that many houses, 15 houses. What if they could make $120,000? How much is that coach worth? $10,000? $20,000? Because guess what? If he taught you how to make and double your income this year, can you double it again next year with the knowledge you gained? Yeah. So that coach is worth a lot of money. Don't skimp on hiring a coach of your own. Put them to work. Let them teach you. There's Brian. How you doing, buddy? Oh, I think it was his screen came on. The Zoom screen came on. So we're going to see where we leave off. I'm Steve at stevesapato.com in case you guys need to get a hold of me. You can text me 563-370-4938. Text me and say, what? 563-370-4938. Steve Sapato. You can look me up on the internet, Sapato. And I've been there for 40 years. I don't know how long the internet's been there, but I've been around most of that time. I hope you guys are all accomplishing what you need to accomplish. My job is to help you achieve your dreams. And I do that by teaching you, by helping you to grow, by helping you become all that you can become. So you have any questions for me? That's the key. That's what we were going to be doing here in the last 3 or 4 minutes is if you have questions, I would love to answer them. I don't know if they're asking for you to text them in or if they go live, but that's the one of the things that you get to do. So text me at 563-370-4938. And maybe I can answer your questions after we get off the show here today. And if you're planning on staying on for a lot of other speakers, boy, I think you're going to be impressed with the great speakers that are coming on board and are going to help you be more successful in your life. If you're not recording this, you should be recording it. I know the company's recording it, the organization's recording it, but you might have your own recording device. So like for me, I use Snagit all the time. If I'm on my computer, I don't care if somebody else is recording it. I record it on Snagit, and that's a great program. If you don't have it, you should get Snagit, Camtasia, and Canva to help you design all your ads and your promotions and your materials. Phenomenal programs. Those 3 programs will absolutely change your life. Canva, C-A-N-V-A, Camtasia for I do a podcast called The Happiness Agenda. And if what you're looking at is trying to record your screen, Camtasia also has Snagit by TechSmith, TechSmith, TechSmith. I highly recommend you get a hold of TechSmith. Look them up, techsmith.com probably. and get a hold of the Snagit program. If you need recording, then this TechSmith program. And if you're doing video, or you're doing video, then you should also get ask me about BigView. I will send you a link to get you a teleprompter that really works. And I'm talking about really works, BigView. So if you want to text me, I'll send you a link so you can get a BigView and really start succeeding in doing your visuals like this. So what other questions do you have for me? That's one of those deals where
Steve, actually, you've gone over time.
Yeah, well, that's right.
We better not take any questions. We need to move on to our next speaker.
Great. Hey, thanks a lot for having me on, Brian. I sure appreciate you.
All right. Thank you, Steve.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. So our next speaker is Cassandra Arsenal, and she is the driving force behind Connect, a thriving hub for digital marketing expertise and online business management. With over a decade of experience in steering businesses from behind the scenes, Cassandra has amassed a wealth of knowledge on how to effectively operate and scale online ventures. As a digital marketing coach, Cassandra empowers entrepreneurs with the tools and strategies needed to navigate the ever-evolving digital landscape. Her approach is rooted in practicality, combining industry insights with hands-on guidance to help businesses thrive in the online realm. With Cassandra by your side, expect to unlock the full potential of your online business and forge ahead with confidence in the digital realm. All right, Cassandra, it's the digital or the virtual stage is yours. So take it away.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. So it is so good to connect with everyone. Thank you for hanging out and being here. I want to talk today around creating a captivating story and crafting your narrative on social media. So I deal a lot with social media and I see it all the time. People want to sell on social media. We want to sell in our business, right? We're here to make money, like Steve was sharing in the previous discussion, right? We're here to make money. That's what's driving our business. But we get so caught up in how to make the money and what the offers are and what the customer experience and what the, customers are. We forget that, in order for people to purchase from you, they have to connect with you on a deeper level. And so I think that Steve going before me is a perfect segue into this conversation because, a lot of people think behind the scenes, your brand is, your logo, your colors, your fonts, all of the traditional styles of what a brand is, but it's really, really deep past that. So yes, it is the colors. Yes, it is the fonts. People want to recognize you, right? When you drive down the street and you see the McDonald's Big M way up in the sky, you know that that's McDonald's. Absolutely. There's recognition in that. Past that, it's around your reason why you're in business. Why are you doing what you're doing? What's your mission statement? What's your values behind the business? As a human being, what are your values? I'm not saying go write it on a beautiful plaque in your office. It doesn't have to be anything formal, but to really understand why you're in business and what you're doing for your customers, that is huge in your brand. Then the products and services, those pieces, right? You understand why you're doing what you're doing, what void you're filling for your customers, and then you build those products and services into that. It's talking about customer experience. If a client comes to you and has a problem, or if a client comes to you and is placing an order, what does their customer experience look like? That's huge for brand identity. The tone of voice that you're using on social media. So in the same way that I'm chatting with you guys today, if you read any of my social media posts, they all sound the same. I am a very casual speaker. I like to talk as if we were having coffee together. And so in my social media, I made it the same way because that's what I wanted my brand identity to be. You can be the opposite of that. You could be really formal. You could be really educational. You could be really, I don't know what the word is. I can't think of it right now. But regardless, you could be the other end of it where you're like laughing and joking and having fun, making exciting pieces of content. You get to decide, but your tone of voice really sets you apart from the competition. And all of these pieces are a part of the bigger picture, right? What do you want people to feel when they come to your business or they buy your product or service? How do you want people to connect with you? Where do you want to show up? Who is your target audience? Who are you even showing up for? What is your company culture? Maybe you have a team. Maybe you have employees. What does that look like? All of these pieces play into that bigger brand identity. And I think a lot of people get lost in just like product and service, colors and fonts, but there's all these other pieces. You know, I work with clients and we talk a lot around, you know, what is your values? Because you want to have clients that meet those values. Right away, you're going to have a conversation with someone, and if you guys don't have the same values or you're not really on the same page, you can feel that energy between you, right? You're like, oh, I don't know about this relationship. I don't know how this is going to work. I don't feel great about it. So when you weave those pieces, the mission statement, the values, the reason why you're doing it, that you show those pieces on social media, it gives people a really clear direction on if they connect with you or not. And then you don't have to waste time doing discovery calls with people who are not your people. Now, you as a person have a unique story, how you built your business, where you're at in your business, where you're at in your life, how you built, how you got here. That is one thing that sets you apart from the competition. So myself, there are a million social media coaches out there. There are a million online business managers out there, but none of them have the same story that I do. Now, they may have similar stories. They may have different, you know, entities of my story, but they don't have me as a human and the story that I have. And so when you show up on social media, it's really important to share those stories with people. I'm not saying go into your personal life and videotape everything your child's doing and throw it up on social media and be like, hey, look at what I do in a day. But allowing people into your world and using storytelling through your content is really going to allow people to connect with you on a deeper level than just like that surface selling piece. So when we think about traditional storytelling, go back to elementary school when you had to learn how to create a short story. There was like that conflict resolution piece, right? And so when your clients come to you, there's a reason. Oftentimes it is naturally conflict. Either they aren't getting what they need or they desire to get more, right? So clients come to me and say, hey, Cass, like I'm feeling really frustrated with social media. I don't know like how to do it. I don't know why it's not working. I want more followers. I want more engagement. I want to build my business on social media, but I'm getting stuck in this. And I'm like, okay, let's look at all these other pieces. So there's their conflict. How can we resolve this problem? That's where I come in and help you do that. So you get to decide that in your own business as well. Where's the conflict and where's the resolution? And lay that out for people in your content. Share, you don't have to share, hey, so-and-so did this and then we did this, but you can share pieces around, are you feeling a little lost on social media and things are changing all the time and you're just feeling a little, you know, crazed by all of it? Here's all the things that I can do to help you get to where you want to be. Character development. The people in your world are real people, right? They all have stories. Everybody in this room has their own unique story. We all have our own journey on how we got to entrepreneurship or where we're at in business or all of these pieces. And so you get to play around with character development, show your character in the work that you're doing, but also show your client stuff, right? There's nothing better than testimonials, client stories, case studies, because it really shows people, hey, this person has worked with other people. This person does good work. There's happy people around them. And it just allows people to see that there's more than just you in your business. Brand stories with emotions and not just steps I have written down. So when it comes to your brand story, you want to make sure that you're evoking emotion inside of that. So instead of it being step by step, here's how we get better on social media, I evoke the emotion behind it. So few years ago, Super Bowl just happened. A few years ago, there was a Super Bowl commercial that came out for a truck brand. I can't quite remember. I want to say it was Ford, but I'm not. Don't quote me on that one. There was a truck brand that came out and they did this commercial. And the commercial had a dog in it. And the dog became the feature of the commercial because there was an emotion behind it. People were like crying at the end of this 30-second ad. And I was like, what is going on? I got to watch this ad. And it wasn't necessarily anything, you know, that had to do with the truck per se. Yes, it had like, oh, here's like the horsepower and here's the gas mileage and all these things. But the storyline that they created around this dog inside this vehicle was huge because it evoked emotion and then people spread it like wildfire because they were like, holy crap, this was amazing. Go watch this. Grab your Kleenex box. I'm not saying you have to make everybody cry all the time, but emotion can look like different things, right? It can be excitement. It can be inspiration. It can be passion. It can be connection. It can be happiness. It can be sad. It can be angry. It can be all of those things. So you get to play around with how you want to weave the emotion in your story. But don't just tell me we had a conflict and now we have a resolution. Bring me to the moment of what that looks like. Really envelop your audience into your experience of X, Y, and Z situation. So when it comes to compelling narratives, we want to evoke the emotion. So the good, the bad, it comes from the words that you use, the language that you're using. It comes from the music. If you're doing video or any piece of content like that, even, stories and static posts now, you can do different video or different music behind them. The imagery that you're using, the colors and tones, the video style, all of those different things evoke emotion. We're very visual people. Relatability. You want to be relatable to your audience, right? People relate to people, people buy from people. If they don't know how you're showing up, if they don't know your values, if they don't know how they can connect with you, it's harder for them to trust you. And that's really what it comes down to, and build that connection. So yes, they may purchase something 3 years down the road, but you might have had that sale a year earlier, or 2 years earlier, or 6 months earlier, because you created a connection. And so the connection is huge when you're talking to people. Listen to your audience. Your audience shows you so much. There is so many different valuable pieces that your audience tells you. And a lot of times we create offers and products and services based on what we think people want, rather than just listening to what they want. I'm on social media all the time, and I ask my audience, I'm like, hey, I'm thinking of doing a new workshop. What would be most beneficial for you? And I give them a few options, and then I go and create it. I'm like, boom, done. You've told me what you want. Then I can go back to all those people and say, hey, you wanted it? Here it is. Let's go. Get in the room. And they're like, yeah, duh. I asked for it. So just listen to what your audience wants. It doesn't have to be as blatant as, what workshop do you want? But when you're creating content, look at what's engaging people. Look at what questions are being asked. Start creating around what people desire in your business. Okay, then growth. Creating compelling narratives around growth. So showing the transformation of your clients, but also if you like your products and services. When I started my business, my packages, I'm mentoring a fellow she's starting off as a social media manager. And when I started, I was like, girl, I have my packages at $300 a month. And I have a client 4 years later who's still on that retainer package because I love her and she's family and we're here for it. However, the transformation that has gone through both within the business in terms of pricing, but also in the offering that I give people. It's not the same package that I started off with. Look at all these evolutions of this piece of work that I've done. And this is how you can get involved. And this is how you can connect. And this is how we can work together. Show all of those pieces. If you have a product, where did it start? It probably started on a napkin in a bar one night where you were just sketching something out and you're like, this would be a really cool idea. Or a late night conversation with your partner where you were like, wow, what if we've solved that problem, right? So start showing people these transformations. Sharing those personal stories. Like I said, you don't have to get up close and personal with every piece of your life, but if your kids are at the hockey game this weekend, snap a pic, put it on your stories and say, heading off to the hockey game this weekend. I guarantee you're going to get a bunch of messages coming back to you and say, hey, my kids play hockey too. Oh, what season or what? I don't know anything about hockey. How are the kids doing this season? Whatever. What brand are you using? There's going to be tons of questions and conversation starting because they actually have a point now to relate to you past just the sales piece. And then building those connections. So when somebody does ask those questions, don't ever think that there's some people out there that are like, well, I'm too good to answer that. Like it doesn't matter. It's not going to build my business. But what it does is it shows people that they can trust you, that you're open to having a conversation. And next time they need X, Y, and Z service, they know to come to you because they have a connection past just the sale, like I was saying. Okay, so then when it comes to social media, yes, we have the story, right? We have the narrative. We're like, okay, we're building all of this through our content. What does that actually look like? Your visuals. So what kind of visuals are you using? It's not always about the sales, right? So yes, you can have a beautiful sales poster and yes, it can be out there, but also share other pieces of that. Share your brand photo shoots, share carousel posts, share reels and videos and behind the scenes of what's going on. The messaging. So get used to writing really beautiful messaging. Get used to sharing more of that in-between story. It doesn't have to be 800 characters long. It doesn't have to be 8 million characters long. It can simply be, 200 characters or 2 little paragraphs. But the way that you're using your language in those 2 paragraphs is going to be huge. I was helping a client this morning talk about that we're doing a 10K in 10 days challenge. And she was talking, she's like, here's my offer. I'm like, beautiful poster. The graphic itself looks beautiful. give me the caption. And she like basically wrote down what was on the graphic in the caption. And I was like, no, no, no. We need to encourage people to feel the transformation that they are going to have by being in this program. So let's switch this language up. And so then we weaved a storyline through this piece of content, and she posted it today. So we'll see the results on that. But it's all about kind of bringing people into your world, connecting with them a bit closer. The types of content, if you hate being on video, video's not for you. Stop forcing yourself to show up in a way that feels really misaligned for who you are. Yes, it's going to help you grow. Yes, you might go viral. But if you actually hate video and you show up on video, everybody can tell you hate it. And it's not about not stepping outside of your comfort zone. There's absolutely pieces to that where, yes, you should step out, stretch a little bit, be, bigger, better, all of those things. But at the end of the day, if you've done 100 videos and you still hate it, get the heck off there. How often are you showing up? So this is important, right? Being consistent. And being consistent means it's different for every person in this room. What is consistent for you and what's realistic for you? If you say, hey, Cass, like I realistically can only post twice a week. Amazing. I love that for you. Are you going to go viral tomorrow? Probably not. Are you going to have 1 million followers overnight? Probably not. However, you are going to have very consistent growth because you are being consistent in how you're showing up. And then how often do you storytell versus sell? Sorry. So if you open up a marketing textbook from any year, anytime, it's 20% selling, 80% educating, inspiring, teaching, that type of stuff. So when you think about your sales, yes, there can be call to actions. Yes, there can be sales posts. Absolutely. But don't inundate people with sales if you're not willing to make the connection with them, because you're going to miss them on all of it. Yes, they're going to see that there's a sale. Yes, they're going to see what you're selling. But if you're not building those deep connections and relating to people and asking them questions, getting to know your audience, it's not going to matter too much what you're selling. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you do have questions, I think we have a couple more minutes, but I appreciate you hanging out.
Okay, if no one has a question, I'll ask a question. All right, so Cassandra, if you could go back in time to before you started your business, what would you tell yourself?
Oh, what a good question. I think that the best news flash that I ever got was around showing up in your business and showing up for yourself. I think a lot of us get caught up in okay, well, we own our own business, so we could do whatever. And yes, there's that freedom in that. But also, if you never show up for yourself in your business, in your life, in the work that you do, it's not going to be super successful long term. And so I learned that really early on in business was if I don't show up for this thing, it's not going to work for me either. So you got to put the work in to receive the benefits as well, I think. So, yeah. Pat, it looks like you have a question.
Yeah, I'll jump in. That was really great. And I just love the storytelling. The storytelling element was very helpful, Cassandra. Do you, in terms of the length, you were very specific about the 200 characters or the 2 paragraphs. I mean, in terms of time it takes to put stuff together, I do a lot of video and television. I mean, is that a good spotlight for writing kind of behind the scenes?
Yeah, there was no real science behind that number. I think it comes down to the value that you're providing people. So the way I like to look at it is if I have a video where I'm providing a lot of value in it, I like to keep the caption short and sweet because they've already gotten the value from the video, right? We don't need to repeat ourselves in a different way. And so that's the way I like to do it. If I have a carousel post where there's lots of value in the graphics, I'm like, hey, keep the caption short and sweet. Maybe ask a question in there to get the engagement going. Now, if I put a picture of myself and I'm like, hey, working in the office today, nobody wants to hear happy Monday. We know it's Monday, we're aware. And so that's where you're giving the value past just the picture, right? Here's the beautiful picture of this coffee cup that I went to a meeting with, and here's the storyline behind it. So there's no rhyme or reason necessarily that one's going to be more successful statistically. However, if you're giving a lot of value in one piece, slow down on the rest, and then flip it the other way.
That's great. Do you have a website or something, Cassandra?
I do. I popped my social medias in the chat, and I'll
Thank you.
as well. Thank you guys.
I'll grab them.
Perfect.
Okay, everyone, we're ready to move on to our next speaker. But thank you very much, Cassandra, for everything you've done.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, our next speaker is Jeffrey Weinberg, and he brings over 25 years of invaluable experience as a healthcare administrator to his role as a nationally certified healthcare patient advocate. His extensive background equips him with a deep understanding of the intricacies of the healthcare system and a passion for advocating on behalf of patients. Jeffrey recently made a significant contribution to the healthcare discourse with his book, The Emperor Needs New Clothes, or Why Caring Has Disappeared from Healthcare. This insightful publication sheds light on the challenges facing modern healthcare and offers compelling insights into restoring compassion and empathy within the industry. Jeffrey's dedication to improving patient care and his commitment to advocating for meaningful change make him a respected voice in the healthcare industry. So everyone, welcome Jeffrey Weinberg.
Thank you very much. That was a great introduction. And before I get into what I'm speaking about, Cassandra, your talk was amazing. And I've learned a few things that I've noted while you were talking. Because social media is the way of the future, or is the future right now. And I rely on my grandchildren to help me at this point in time because they know it way better than I do. And speaking of grandchildren, I have 3 that live in Pittsburgh, and I'm using what you just said, Cassandra, and I have 8 who live in Israel. So I have 11 grandchildren that I'm all very proud of. But I'm here to speak today about healthcare and my book, which is The Emperor Needs New Clothes, or Why Caring Has Disappeared in Healthcare. I've been in healthcare for well over 25 years, like Brian said, and I have been a hospital administrator and a nursing home administrator. I've developed and planned and implemented almost every aspect of geriatric services as well as services in rehabilitation. So as I've gone through my career, I realized that the caring of healthcare has largely gone away. That doesn't mean that people don't care, but it does mean that people don't have as much time to care. And so as a healthcare patient advocate, my primary role is to help my clients and their family get the information they need so that they can and will have time to care. So if you wait 1 second, I'm going to see if I can get this screen to share. And I think we just did it. Hold on.
Hey, baby.
Okay.
I'm on
You
Zoom
can
right
see
now.
this, so that's good enough.
Go
All
easy
right,
right there.
so the talk is on what you should learn to be your own healthcare advocate. And as we've discussed, it's based on the book, The Emperor Needs New Clothes. For some of you, you will know that there was a television show called Dr. Welby. And Dr. Welby was the doctor that everybody loved, whether it was on television or whatever, because Dr. Welby cared. He took the time to talk to you. He was able to just be there for you, whatever you needed, Dr. Welby. Today, that's not the case. The average doctor spends 7 minutes or less with you. And those 7 minutes, if you're in the hospital, that I typically call it, the doctor spends what's called a wave by. They walk in, go, hi, how are you? That's nice, see you later. And they bill you for that service. The other thing is, talking about Dr. Welby, is that doctor followed you, whether you were at home or whether you were in the hospital. Now, today, by and large, the doctor that's your primary physician only follows you in the community. When you go to the hospital, you're there under what's called physician services, which are called hospitalists. So they don't know about you, they don't know about your family. They can look at a record, but there's no very much personal information that's provided to them. So why has this occurred this way? Well, as everything is nowadays, we've all heard the saying, follow the money. Well, the money is what's causing the problem. Prior to 1970, the reimbursement for healthcare, and that included hospitals and nursing homes and things like that, was what we call retrospective cost-based reimbursement. So for some of you, you'll remember this. It used to be that an aspirin who cost 10 cents, when the pharmacist at the hospital put it in a bottle, labeled that aspirin, sent it up to nursing dispensed it, that aspirin now costs $10. And another example is that my mother, when I was 17 years old, she had a heart attack. She was in the hospital for 3 months. And she was in the hospital 3 months, not because she needed all of that care, but because the hospital was getting paid for every day she was there. So that then changed. And it changed to what we call prospective reimbursement. And prospective reimbursement means that everything is lump sum together. So in this situation, we have what's called the DRG. Hospitals are paid by the DRG, which is diagnostic related groupings. So for example, the person who had a heart attack when my mother was around stayed in the hospital for 2-3 months. The person who has a heart attack now, and I ran a step down unit, they are in the hospital for 4 nights. After that, they get referred to a transitional unit, and they are seen probably about 2 weeks for therapy and strengthening, and they go home. So the DRG, and I'm going to make up a number, for hospitals for the diagnosis, hospital stay with a heart attack, we'll just say is $50,000 a day. So the hospital gets paid for those days. They're only allowed 4 nights. So the hospital gets paid $200,000. However, if the hospital discharges the person on day 5, they still only get paid $200,000. If they discharge the person on day 6, they still only get paid $200,000. Now, if they discharge that person on day 3, they get paid their $200,000. So oftentimes we hear people saying, the practitioner saying, discharge begins the day of admission. And literally on day 4, day 5, you need to be gone. Well, obviously, there's lots of people who cannot leave the hospital. They're just not ready to go. And it's an unsafe discharge. So as an advocate, my role is to help people stay in the hospital. But my speak engagement today is on what should people be able to do, irregardless of they hire an advocate or don't. In that situation, you should have a person with you anytime you need help. And that person can be a friend, a family member, whatever. So the hospital has what's called a patient advocate. However, that patient advocate is being paid by the hospital. So they're there to represent the hospital. But you need somebody that's advocating for you. And that person who's advocating for you is a person who is a friend, family member. And that person should be there every day, as well as they should be there for at least 2 to 3 hours a day. And here's why. They're helping you prepare a list of questions. Those questions keep evolving. So they help you with the questions and they help you get the answers. The second thing that happens is that if you're in the hospital or in a nursing home, for that matter, and you ring your call bell, well, in today's world, many places are short-staffed. And it's not anybody's issue, because it's just there's a huge shortage in healthcare today. So if you've been waiting 15, 20 minutes to have someone take you to the bathroom, the person that's with you can go to the nurse's station and say, my friend in room 237 needs help getting to the bathroom. Otherwise, that call bell pretty much gets ignored. So the person that you have in the hospital with you is the person that is helping you get the questions answered that you need, and also helping you to be involved with the care in terms of getting it when you need it. So the other part is that when you're in the doctor's office, you need to have, again, someone come with you. And you should have questions prepared for that doctor. So the questions are basically, here is my medication list. Are these correct? Why am I on certain medicines? What happens, what's our next plan in terms of plan of care? Why do I need to get this kind of test done? So all of those things are questions that you need answered. Well, the doctor's only going to spend less than 7 minutes with you. And you need to say to that doctor, or your friend needs to say to that doctor, doctor, we really haven't had our questions answered, and we need you to stay so we can finish these questions. So a lot of what we're talking about in order to be your own advocate is to be able to be more assertive or have a family member who is more assertive. Because, and again, that family member is key in being able to be there with you and help you get whatever it is you need done. The other thing is if someone's in a nursing home. My wife's mother was in a nursing home, and she visited her every day. And when she visited her every day, she got to know the staff, they got to know her. But more importantly, is the people there knew that she was looking out for her mother's best interests. Several years ago, COVID hit, and it was on a March 13th date, which is a Friday. And my wife was no longer allowed to visit my mother-in-law. Within 2 months, my mother-in-law passed away due to what we call failure to thrive. She quit eating, she quit getting dressed, she just totally gave up, and she died 2 months later. A lot of that had to do with my wife not being able to visit anymore. So it's that important. So typically, again, if we go back to the hospital says, here's your list of nursing homes, call them or go to them and, pick one. So I vet nursing homes. So I can give you at any given time the top 3 nursing homes. In addition to vetting nursing homes, there is a site, and I can write it after I'm done, which is called the Center for Medicare Services. They do a evaluation of every nursing home in the country based on a 5-star rating. And it's just like a restaurant. 5 stars is the best, 1 star, not so much. So you can go to that website and you can look up any nursing home in the country and find out exactly what needs to occur, what that facility has gotten during their survey. So to sum this up, what we want to be able to do is have someone available that can be an advocate for you. It's not somebody who works for the hospital or somebody that works for the nursing home. It's somebody that cares about you and will take it, be able to assert themselves so you get what you need. The main thing that I do as an advocate is that I know what questions to ask. And when I ask those questions, it helps people then make intelligent decisions about their care. So a lot of what I just spoke about is in my book, and my book is available on Amazon as well as Barnes and Noble online. And I'll stop now and see if there's any questions.
Jeff, we're actually at the end time, and so since there are no questions, we will move on. Thanks so much, Jeff. You give us a lot of information about a important topic. Actually, I have tons of questions, but we need to move on. Sorry.
Okay, I'll be glad to, again, I have my email. I'll put also my phone number, and I do a free consultation for anybody who calls and has more issues. Thank you for inviting me. It's been a wonderful conference so far, and I appreciate being here.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, our next speaker is Ashik Uzzaman. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. With over 18 years of dedicated service in engineering leadership and software engineering, Ashik is a seasoned professional known for his expertise in developing expansive distributed systems. I almost said expensive. They may be expensive too. Expansive distributed systems. Throughout his career, he has championed a culture of innovation, excellence, and diversity, nurturing resilient teams that embody forward-thinking values. Adept at managing stakeholder relationships and fostering collaboration, his leadership has played a pivotal role in driving business innovation and technological advancements. His strong sense of accountability, profound technical knowledge, and customer-centric approach have made him a trusted leader in the industry. Notable achievements include his significant contributions to Twin Health's $50 million Series D fundraising. With a proven track record of driving transformative changes within organizational frameworks and processes, Ashik continues to be a driving force in the world of engineering and software development. All right, welcome to the virtual stage, Ashik.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for inviting me and for such a nice introduction. So hello, everyone. I hope you all hear me clearly. Please let me know if you have any trouble. I have some internet issues going on locally in my place, so but hopefully it will be all okay. So today I want to talk about managing a team, managing a technical team, you can say, because I'm in the industry of software engineering. So I may come up with a few examples that comes from there, software engineering, but it should be for any team where you are a manager, not just leader, but manager, and you will have to manage the performance of the team. So I want to talk to you about a particular theory, and then I'm ready to answer any questions if you have after that. So the model that I'm going to talk about today is called capability commitment matrix. So what I will do is I'll show a screen quickly, a diagram, and then I'll be talking based on the diagram for some time before we come back again. So I hope you all hear the diagram. This is that capability commitment matrix. So the basic idea is this, like you are managing a team and there are diversified team members there of different levels. Let's say you manage all of their performance. That means they report to you. A team works very well when they are diversified. They have different type of skill set, and you utilize different people's skill set for different purposes, for your own project, but in different areas. So that's how usually most of the teams work. Now, many companies have a yearly performance review at the end of the year, and they try to figure out how the team members did, and they either promote them, fire them, or keep them there, give raise and so on, or change their role and so on. So there are certain theories around how you can do those in a consistent manner across the organization, and not just like every manager based on their gut feeling or experience try to do it in their own way. So this is one of those theory. You don't have to exactly follow this. There are many other alternative theories there, but this is something I find very convenient. Let's put it this way. This is called capability commitment matrix. Also, it is known as competence commitment matrix or skill will matrix. So you will hear different names for this, but basically this is a 4-box model where in the x-axis, you put one attribute like capability, and in the y-axis, you put another attribute like commitment, and you create 4 boxes on those. So let's look at this one. In the x-axis, we are saying the capability of a team member can be ranging from low to high. So there is no medium here or anything. For now, because it's a 4-box model, you only have 2 variables, low, high for capability. Similarly, another 2 values for the variable commitment, low or high. So let's go through this. So when you're managing a team, you will see that the first quadrant is where the team member who you are evaluating, you are managing, they are low performers. Why? Because their capability is low and their commitment is low. In every team, there will be few people like this. You are fortunate if you don't have any low performer in your team, but in general, we are talking about majority of the teams will have a few low performers. So how do you manage them? How do you evaluate them and manage them? So here, due to the scope of this speech, will not go into how you evaluate them. We are assuming you are using 360-degree model, peer feedback, 360-degree review, peer feedback, or other mechanism, or your direct observation and so on, to decide that this team member is a low performer, like their capability is low and commitment is low. We are not questioning your method, how you came to that conclusion. Let's assume you have came to that conclusion already. Now what you do is what this model is going to talk about. So low performers are usually maybe a bad hires. Like you hired them, but you didn't go through proper interviewing process, or you could not catch that they are technically not capable, which is capability. For example, for a software engineer, you are hired as a good programmer or coder, but your coding is not very good. That can be a low capability software engineer. Another is commitment. You can be a low commitment team member if, let's say, you are disengaged with the team. You are not, the company's vision doesn't inspire you, or you are simply someone you want to work alone. You don't want to work with the team and so on. So for many different reasons, the team is not finding you very helpful, or you are not a team player, or you are not committed to the team. So these are low capability, low commitment team members. Usually in a team, there are not too many low commitment team members, low performers you will find. Why? Because there is, of course, interview process. No one can just pass those interviews very easily. You have to go through rigorous things. So you have at least some capability will be there, even if your commitment cannot be tested during the interview. At least your capability gets tested to some extent during the interview. That's why you'll usually not see too many people here. An approximate observation of mine, there is no data or research or anything, is that usually on an average, a team has 10% low performers. So take it with a grain of salt. This is my observation from my career. So now, once you have identified that there is a low performer, what do you do? So as a manager, you are responsible for their career. Right? You are also responsible for the delivery of the project. So what you do is usually you have candid conversation with them. So whether it's at the end of the year, which is a bad idea, what you should have is a continuous feedback with them. Every year with everyone, every week with every one of your direct reports, you should be sitting. We call it one-on-one meeting. So, but different teams or managers handle it differently. Whatever way you're managing, basically don't wait for the end of the year. Have constant feedback. So sit down, have candid conversation, suggest what they can try. Like, I understand you are having a little bit problem technically here, or you are feeling disengaged. Let's handle one thing at a time, and you suggest, can you try this? Can you try that? And so on. Ask good questions as a manager. You have to try to go to the bottom of the problem. Why is it? Is it you don't know coding, or you don't know this technical thing, or is it you don't feel like working, your team members are supporting you? What is it? Ask good questions. Empower and encourage. So these people often, if you encourage them a little bit, their commitment will grow. Their commitment is right now low. If you empower them, encourage them, you can grow their commitment. Train these people, send them in seminar, training, send materials, that they can learn from, and so on. Maybe sit down with them, try to help them hands-on. And another is build confidence in them. Sometimes they are better than what they think. So these are some of the things you can try as a manager. But let's say you have tried these out and still you are not seeing improvement in either capability or commitment. Then as a manager, your job is to manage these people out of the team, which basically means you find another role within the company if it is more suitable, or simply let them go out of the company. So that's what you can do for the low performers. So in the bracket, what I am trying to tell them is direct them exactly how they can come out of this box, low performers box. The next one we'll talk about is the top right, which is high performers. They are high capability, high commitment people. So these are rock stars of the team, right? So these are the people who are technically very capable, why you have hired them for the project, and they are highly engaged and committed. They are superstars. So support them. What do you do for this type of people? Because they may not continue to be superstar if they don't get the right manager support. They may get bored with the team. They may feel lack of direction. Is that okay? What next? What do I do? So when managing this kind of people, trust them to do what they are supposed to do instead of directing much. Opposite to the low performer, where you will be directing a lot. It will look like you are micromanaging. Here it has to be opposite. You trust them. You empower them as an expert. They are the subject matter expert in their area. Find new challenges for them. Otherwise, they'll get bored because they already are mastering what task you are giving them. They're doing amazing. They're highly capable. They're committed. You have to constantly find new and new challenges for them. Don't take these people for granted because they are superstars. They know they may move away from your team or company anytime because they are good. They know they are good. So don't take them for granted. Ask them what's next. What do they want? So usually these are the superstars, rock stars who are ready for promotion for the next level. Why? Because you can give them bigger challenges, more scope, more responsibility, which will be harder for them. But whatever it is, different people get motivated for different reasons. So ask them what's next for them. Now, these two are relatively simple, low performer and high performer. The tricky ones are the other two. So let's look at the next one. People who your team members, before I go to the other two, my approximate estimation is there are approximately 20% of the teams, 20% of the team members are superstars or rock stars. This is again, take it with a grain of salt. This is my overall observation working in different software companies in the past. In different industries, this number or percentage may vary differently, or different time or geography, it may vary. So that means majority of the people are not low performer, not high performer. That's the main point I'm trying to establish. Majority of the people will be in one of the other two boxes, where they have low capability, high commitment, or high capability, low commitment. Those people are approximately 70%. So that's why I quickly covered the low and high first. Let's go to the third quadrant now. Low capability, high commitment. I'm calling them potential detractors. So this is a tricky one because they are actually highly motivated. They are engaged with the team, but they lack the necessary technical skill. Like they are not very good in terms of capability, but they want to learn. They are committed and so on. So how do you handle this kind of people? They can become your valuable team member in future. They can become a superstar if you can guide them properly. So what do? You show them what to do. It's kind of a little bit of direction you'll have to give, but not micromanaging like low performers. Be hands-on with them. Give constant feedback on which area or technical capability they can increase. Stay available for them for any questions that they have, because they will be a high-touch employee for you. They will be asking a lot of questions coming to you. You should be going to them and focus on their skill, improving where they lack. Because they are highly committed people, you don't have to work too hard to motivate them. They are already motivated. So tell them that this is, you are doing very good in general, but this is the the job needs you to do certain things, let's say coding in my example, software engineering, do well. So learn it, send them for training, let them get better, take help from other senior members in the team. Pair with a mentor, you mentor them, you coach them and get them there. So that will be, they excite them and motivate them basically. Now, the other quadrant where you are basically managing people who are highly capable, but they have low commitment, they are disengaged with the team. So this is another tricky group, and they are possibly disengaged, or they have lack of drive to push themselves, or they are not aligned with the company vision. There can be many other things, maybe something going on in their personal life. Although they are capable, they are not very much well equipped with the team, like the team culture, team philosophy. They prefer working alone and so on. So these are working style also different people have. But as a manager, you have to make sure at least some part of their work they do for the team or work with them together, because it's a team game. When you're managing a team, a project, it's always a team game, not an individual game. So you have to instill those ideas in those team members. What do? Tell them that you believe that they can do it because they are technically capable. So you tell them that you just have to develop a little bit of your motivation. Let me know how I can help you so that you feel more excited and engaged with the team. And slowly, gradually raise the stake and pace. Start with slow pushing and then slowly keep raising. Oh, you have to do better. You have to do better. This one, I want to see more engagement from you, more questions from you, more challenges from you, and so on. And tell them you are better than what you realize. So some of them, they possibly want to just get to the next level. Tell them, because they're technically capable, tell them, how can I let you go, get you to the next level if you are not being able to influence your team? You are not engaged with the team. So if you get to the next level, how will you engage others if you yourself are not engaged? This is how you will try to motivate them to get there. A small percentage of these highly capable, low commitment people are actually harmful for the team. We call the Patrick Lencioni, a management guru in the Bay Area, he calls them brilliant jerks. Brilliant jerks are people you cannot live without because they are so good in their work. But on the other hand, they demotivate the rest of the team. They are harmful for the other team, but their output alone is very high. And that's why managers cannot fire them, because they are getting a lot from them also. You need a very strong manager to be able to handle these kind of team members, or making a decision to hire, making a decision to fire, and so on. So they are brilliant judges. So you'll have to try to put them into discipline so that they work with the team or manage them out from the team, even if they are giving a lot of output to the company, because it's not an individual game, it's a team game. And you need a good manager, strong manager, to be able to handle situations like this. So these are the 4 boxes of commitment. However, you may come into situations that I have team members who are neither, I cannot put them as high or low, like their medium capability, or their commitment is not high or low, they are medium commitment and so on. What do I do about this? They are like in the center of the thing. For if you fall into situations like this where you are having hard time managing within the 4 box, you can actually use a different model, 9 box model. It's slightly different. Let me share that with you. I'll just show you quickly before I open up for Q&A. Sorry, let me share my screen. Okay, so this is a 9 box model where instead of capability and commitment, what I'm putting here is performance versus potential. Very similar. And here you can put low, medium, high, low, medium, high performance, low, medium, high potential. Very similar, but instead of 4 box, now you have more levers to work with. Basically 9 boxes. Something similar, but in essence, in principle, it tries to handle the same thing. So what you can manage in 9-box, you can actually manage in 4-box, as long as you can evaluate your evaluation method is appropriate. So I will not go into this 9-box model, because my goal was to actually talk to you about the 4-box model, that capability commitment matrix. I hope this will come out useful for you, and I'm open to take any questions that you may have. Thank you. I have also provided my LinkedIn, YouTube channel, and my website or blog link in case you are interested. I run a Leaders Whiteboard YouTube channel where I talk about many of these management and leadership theories. So yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Well, I want to thank everyone who's been here today. I want to thank our speakers for being here and for what they do for us. And if you are interested in speaking or attending our upcoming, our next virtual summit, then watch your email and let us know. But until next month, we will talk to you later. Thanks. Goodbye.